These are the top two defensive teams in the Big 12 as far as points per game allowed is concerned. Here we go, underway between the 25th ranked Kansas State Wildcats and number 9 Texas, and immediately a jump ball possession arrow, Kansas State, after Texas initially won the tip.
And you're going to see Texas jump out from the beginning and pressure the 3 guards for Kansas State, who are all freshmen.
Kansas State comes into this one 15-4 overall, 5-2 in conference play. Winners of 2 straight. Texas 14-3. They feed it immediately to Aoka Lee, guarded by Gaston, and Lee starts off with a miss. The Longhorns have won 3 straight and are averaging just under 77 points per contest on the season. 4-12 and 4-2 in Big 12 play. Vic Schaefer said he wants to see his team play better at home. They played superior basketball on the road, but there were turnover moments ago. Kansas State unable to connect from downtown. Jalen Glenn will try it again, and another miss.
We mentioned that Texas struggles with bigs on the inside from the opposing teams. They've struggled with turnovers, making decisions, knowing when to not go so deep into the lane, and they've struggled against zones. Kansas State in a 2-3 zone right now. They will be big and active.
Texas swept Kansas State last year, got Aoka Lee to foul out of both games. Held her to 14 points combined, 5 on the shot clock. Rory Harmon got to make a move. Heaves one up from downtown, bounces around a few times. Alan Taylor flying in. And it remains Texas ball. Longhorns, of course, led by Vic Schaefer, 336 career victories, 35 in charge of the Longhorns. Moore, she had trouble just right from the initial pass, gaining control. Never did. Kansas State ball.
A couple of early turnovers right there. That's what Jeff Mittie would like to see. He likes the fact that his team is very poised this season. They have a young team, but certainly willing to handle the pressure, and they'd like to take care of the ball as well today.
A young team, 3 freshmen in the starting lineup for Kansas State. They've all done a tremendous job feeding Aoka Lee throughout the season. Here is Serena Sundell, one of the Big 12 Freshman of the Year candidates. She's been a huge part of their turnaround. Flying to the rack is Ebert with the miss, so a cold start here in Austin. Kansas State 0 for 4 to begin the night. Rory Harmon, 3-time Big 12 Freshman of the Week, averaging just over 10 points per contest. They kick it back out to Harmon. Shot clock under 10 yet again. That one well short of the bucket. There's Harmon, however, on the defensive end. Texas with a 2-on-1. There's the feed to Matharu. Oh, can't get it to fall. Still scoreless. 2.5 minutes in. Alan Taylor all over Serena Sundell and forces the travel.
When we talked about ball pressure, that's what we mean when we talk about pressure on the passer. Get up in their face, make them turn around. Sundell, although she has the height to see over the defense and that she's bigger than Joanne Allen Taylor, gets her back turned. Everybody's denying defensively. A terrific job by Texas.
This shouldn't be a surprise, this start for either team. Again, the 2 best defenses in the Big 12, both allowing fewer than 57 points per game. Jeff Mittie, the head coach of Kansas State, said, hey, Aoka Lee may have scored 61 in the last game. As a team, we'll be lucky to score 61. It's going to be a defensive struggle. Moore battling in the paint. Matharu scoops it up with a miss. Gaston comes flying in. And finally, the first points of the night are scored, courtesy of Texas.
Well, this has been very good defense by Kansas State. That was a great job by Gaston to fly in there. She's the one player, I think, that could really compete on the interior today.
D. Gaston, 9 points per contest. Driving to the bucket, Jalen Glenn. Kansas State 0 for 5 to start off the night. Alan Taylor.
One of the things Texas talked about is getting the ball into the paint. So you see the 12 on the inside or the orange. You got to have it touch in the paint somehow, whether it's inside to the post player that's a kick out or dribbling, or just knock down a 3. Prove me wrong.
Yeah, Leah Matharu making it look easy. That's her 42nd 3 of the year. Nobody else on Texas even has 15.
Yeah, well, she shoots around 40% from 3, but she's sort of a streaky shooter. There's games where she can get hot, and some games she doesn't hit.
Glenn feeding it down low. Ayoka Lee turn around with the miss, gets the board and the putback. Ayoka Lee, 22 of her 23 field goals on Sunday came in the paint.
Yeah, that's where she's really good, but what's amazing is how well K-State passes the ball to her. Even when there's backside help, when she's double teamed, she has those great hands and is able to go up and grab it.
That seems to be the key. Pressure the passers. Matharu with the miss in the paint. Wildcats ball. And immediately Lauren Ebo coming into the game to replace Aaliyah Moore.
Look at these right here. The reds are the misses, the X's, and the blue circles are the makes. And the only one that's outside of the lane is right there. So 15 for 17 from the free throw line. She's really improved at the free throw line as well. Every year, Ayoka Lee has improved something with her game.
A real performance, but you know, Lee, the head coach, Jeff Mittie, everybody on the staff said they were unaware that she was approaching the record, didn't even know she had broken it until it was announced in the arena. Texas forcing another turnover.
Again, ball pressure, terrific ball pressure, no vision for the passer.
Fourth turnover forced already. Texas, number 4 in the nation in turnover margin. They average 23 forced turnovers per contest. Ellen Taylor scoping out the D. Shot clock at 8. Fake the pass to Matharu, pull-up jumper, Joanne Allen Taylor. Second leading scorer on the Longhorns, averaging just under 11 points per contest. Dropped in 14 in their last game against TCU.
And you always know what to expect from Joanne Allen Taylor. She gives 100% out there and ready to play every game.
Texas off to a good start. Again, they've beaten Kansas State 3 of the last 4 meetings. Lee turnaround jumper. Ebo got a piece of that.
Yeah, pushed Lee out of her comfort zone right there. And Lee doesn't need to fade away from anybody. Maybe just needs to take a little bit more time. She seems a little rushed on the block.
She only had 9 points in one game against Texas last year, 5 in the other. Of course, that was with Charlie Collier in the lineup for Texas.
So many problems last season were because she was in foul trouble, fouled out of both games.
Matharu, good look. Unable to connect, Gaston fighting for it. The Wildcats come up with it. Glenn over to Simone Goodrich, one of 2 seniors on the team. Offensive foul. Suffocating defense by the Longhorns. Kansas State just 1 of 8 from the field. Horns up early in Austin.
This basketball on Longhorn Network is presented by Wells Fargo. This is a commitment to better banking. This is Wells Fargo.
Audrey Warren, the senior, such a physical presence for the Longhorns. Got a great story on her coming up at halftime. As a matter of fact, I'll tease it by saying, what do Audrey Warren, a woodpecker, and a ram have in common?
I'm going to make you wait till halftime.
Yes, we will find out coming up, and I'm sure she will be entering the game shortly, as well as Audrey Warren getting used to her new role coming off the bench. This will be the 4th straight game that has occurred, but the starters doing their job for Texas, holding Kansas State to 13% shooting from the field. Shea Holly in the game, meanwhile, for the Longhorns. From the corner, here is Rory Harmon, 35% on threes on the year, 10-2 Texas.
Nice job by Matharu and Harmon of knocking down a couple of corner threes, hopefully stretching that K-State defense a bit.
Kansas State on a scoring drought of 2.5 minutes. Goodrich feeding Lee down low. Lee has looked uncomfortable so far tonight against this Texas defense. Ebo with another block, her 2nd of the contest. Texas ball. McShafer's fired up, by the way.
Well, he's enjoying the fact that his team is playing great team defense out there, and you might see Ebo with her 2nd block on the night here, but earlier in that play, great job of denying first pass away, pressure on the ball handler, forcing Lee to give the ball up outside the lane and not letting her get an easy shot. So overall, A+ on that one.
Lauren Ebo stepping up her defense, the team leader in blocks. Longhorns offensively started off 0 for 4 from the field, but have hit 4 of their last 6. Holly with the turnover. However, Serena Sundell, the talented freshman. Alan Taylor forced the miss. Holly loses it again. Sundell, she can hit this. Unable to get it to fall. Team leader in threes. One of the best point guards in the conference. Harmon, good look. Airballs that one.
K-State has a lot of length on the perimeter with that zone. They have 6'1", 6'2" on the perimeter.
Kansas State 1 of 11 from the field. Laura Mackey. Gaston. Fouled Mackey. Lee Gaston has been picking up her defensive presence as of late. 11 blocks in her last 7 games, but after the foul, will take a seat on the Texas bench.
Goes both ways. I think Vic Schaefer is starting to gain more and more confidence in Deanna Gaston, and Deanna Gaston's gaining more and more confidence in herself. He really needs somebody at the 4 position or 5 position that can have athleticism, rebound the basketball.
Well, they force it to Lee off her hands, and this Texas defense has Kansas State totally out of rhythm.
Absolutely. They're just uncomfortable passing the basketball, and one of the big things that K-State needs to do is reverse the basketball in order to let Lee post up and get good position. They're just not able to reverse the ball right now.
Each team with 5 turnovers. Leah Matharo to her left with the feed down low. Aaliyah Moore. How about Texas out to the 10-point lead early?
Good job by Texas offensively as well. They didn't show, wasn't very patient in the first couple of plays. The last couple have been much better.
Texas on a 7-0 run. Offensive foul. And Briley Glenn can't believe it. Her jaw dropped when she saw the call.
Well, Rory Harmon is incredibly quick, and her ability to defend on the ball and get into great position is like nobody in the nation. And just a really nice job. And I think Harmon's getting more and more comfortable in the defense for Vic Schaefer, willing to take the charge.
And I think for Kansas State, Sunday was a favorable matchup heading in, the way Oklahoma played defense. But this is not Oklahoma you're going up against here defensively. Texas, a very different ball club.
I think it just highlights the different styles in the Big 12. Iowa State is a perimeter team. Oklahoma, a fast break, run and gun kind of team. Texas is more of a buckle down, get in your face defensively. And K-State likes to get it into Aoka Lee. So different styles, contrasting styles. And Texas has had a lot of success against Aoka Lee and Kansas State in the past.
Wildcats with just 1 bucket, courtesy of Leah on the night, but Aoka Lee, after that 61-point performance, just 1 of 4 from the field here in the first. Glenn moving to her left. Shot clock under 10. Her sister, Jalen Glenn, twin sister, fires off a miss. Kansas State 1 for 12.
Yeah, again, tremendous defense, on the ball defense. Sundell turned around 4 or 5 times in the first 10 seconds just trying to get the first pass off.
Alan Taylor. That one halfway down, back out. Ebo rips that one away from the Wildcats, has it poked away, goes on the floor. Jump ball, possession arrow, Texas.
Yeah.
Ebo's getting after it tonight.
She is. She's playing very physical. I think she likes the fact that she can go up against another big like Aoka Lee and diving for the ball right there. But right there with her is Briley Glenn. Like watch Briley Glenn, number 5 right here. Stands up and then just dives as well. I don't think the Glenn twins are afraid of contact either.
No, but you love to see Ebo's reaction afterwards. She likes the contact more with the miss. 5-second difference, roughly, between the game clock and the shot clock. Kansas State shooting 8% in the opening quarter with 6 turnovers.
How quick Harmon is on the ball.
Great pass by Sundell to Glenn, and they get their 2nd bucket of the night with 10 seconds to go in the first quarter. Harmon, pull up 3. No, but Texas with a dominant first quarter, outscoring the Wildcats by 8 and holding Aoka Lee, fresh off that 61-point performance, to 2 points. By the way, these 4 points for Texas allowed, tied for the fewest points allowed in a quarter this season. Texas off to a strong start. For the second time in 3 games, they've held an opponent to 4 points in a quarter. Their defense suffocating so far, Andrea.
They have forced 6 turnovers in this first quarter. Terrific job by Rory Harmon. And the on-the-ball defense, look at Vic Schaefer in the background. That's a 5-second call and a turnover right there. They've been very good about forcing Lee out of her comfort zone. You see Ebo there, keeping her out of the lane, and then just the quick guards for Texas, taking a couple of charges, forcing Kansas State to take shots they don't want to take.
Vic Schaefer's got her number so far early in his Texas career. We're talking about Aoka Lee. His Texas team last year held her to 9 points in one game, 5 in the other, and just 2 so far after she dropped 61 in that game against Oklahoma. She had 32 at the half. Quite a different story so far tonight for Lee. Serena Sundell, the freshman, working on Harmon in the paint. Sundell, 3-time Big 12 Freshman of the Week.
My guess at the quarter break, Jeff Mittie talked to his young players, and he just said, settle down. You've got size, you've got the ability to read the defense. Just settle down in there.
What a pass from Audrey Warren, who just entered the game. An underrated passer. And by the way, she stepped it up in Big 12 play. She's averaging nearly 12 points per game in conference play. That's better than her non-conference stats. Harmon.
On Vic Schaefer right now, going with that small lineup. So she plays at the 4 position. Here at the high post, is able to see over the top. Lee has to come out on her when she's in, gets the ball at the high post, and great pass.
Lee, there's the double team, and it pays off. Harmon has some room. Alan Taylor left wide open. Can't connect. Well, you knew Vic Schaefer said coming in, we may allow some things. We are not going to let Aoka Lee beat us. They're going to have to turn to somebody else.
Absolutely. They wanted to see Aoka Lee have to work as hard as possible and double team her whenever possible.
There's the miss by Emily Ebert.
Great box out. You know, if the ball hits the ground after a shot, it's a great box out.
Audrey Warren with the rebound. Warren coming off the bench in her 4th straight contest, adjusting to that role nicely. Has had some strong performances as of late off the bench. Shot clock at 8. Alan Taylor to Harmon. Drops it off to Warren. Baseline, making it look easy.
Yeah, that's just really nice ball movement right there. Audrey Warren gets the ball in the paint. It comes out and the ball gets reversed. Gets an easy shot.
Well, Texas is clicking on all cylinders right now.
I think that's the difference when you put Warren in at the 4. She's been playing at that 3 spot, so playing on the wing, on the perimeter. When you put her in at the 4 and she's in the middle against the zone, she can catch and she can move a little bit better with the basketball. Is a better passer than some of the other 4s and 5s.
Serena Sundell, ESPN recently named her the 3rd best freshman in the nation. She wasn't even a top 100 prospect a year ago coming out of high school.
Yeah, Sundell has been special, especially for Kansas State. That's a great fit for her.
Offensive foul. Jada Moore barreled right into Aaliyah Matharu. That's the 3rd charge taken by Texas tonight.
And 2nd one by Matharu here in the first half of this game.
Everything going Texas's way. Up by 10, forcing 8 turnovers and holding Kansas State to 20% shooting from the field. I mean, that is unreal defense. A couple of Kansas State players go down. They send it down low to Ebo. Aoka Lee was there. Look at Ebo hustling. This is one of her best first halves of the season. Harmon misses off the glass.
Well, also, yeah, you mentioned that she's playing hard. That was also a heads-up play right there. She got the ball on the rebound, gave it to Harmon, and said, "Hey, look at the shot clock. You need to get the ball up. 2 seconds left." Didn't hit anything, but that's a heads-up play.
Ebo with 2 blocks, 2 rebounds, and 2 points. May not sound like much, but she has been a big presence offensively and defensively. And Andrea, this would be a huge loss. Again, one of the best freshmen in the nation, Serena Sundell, being helped off the court.
And Jada Moore comes into the game in that point guard position. You also have Simone Goodrich who can play point guard. So a couple of people that can handle the ball for Jeff Mittie's team.
Well, you were mentioning this pregame when we were discussing this contest, that somebody from this game will be named the Big 12 Freshman of the Year, be it Sundell or Rory Harmon.
We're seeing a lot of talented freshmen and another good defensive stand.
Going with the steal and then lost it. And a timeout called by Kansas State. Jeff Mittie is not happy with his 25th ranked Wildcats trailing by 10. Texas right now forcing 9 turnovers to put them up 16-6 in Austin. Serena Sundell looks like she's ready to come back in. They didn't even have to tape her up. Tested the foot after Aoka Lee fell on her, momentarily injuring her. Aoka Lee, the only player in the country, by the way, averaging at least 20 points, 10 boards, and 3 blocks per contest this year. We were talking to her before the game earlier today. We said, how emotional did you get? She said, not quite me, but my mom cried when I talked to her.
I loved seeing those pictures and the video from the locker room. And, you know, she's well loved by the community, her community at home in Minnesota, and by her teammates. She's a young lady that's wonderful, hardworking, serious student.
Jalen Glenn swooping to the bucket, but Lee has to be a little bit frustrated so far with a 1-for-4 start from the field. Glenn leads all scorers with just 4 points. Texas really sharing the efforts offensively. 7 different Longhorns have scored so far tonight. Rory Harmon over to Warren. Looking uncomfortable there. Shot clock at 7. Matharu baseline. Nice move to the bucket.
We've seen that from Matharu the last couple of weeks. She had a couple of games where she was in a slump, and another turnover, and that is 10 turnovers by K-State so far in this game. But just sort of back to Matharu, she's such a great three-point shooter. Sometimes she can settle for that and she gets really hot sometimes. But look at her speed and quickness and creativity on the drive right there.
She's the Longhorns' leading scorer, but has been a little bit cold offensively as of late. 9 against TCU, 8 against Iowa State, but doing everything else. Had a career-high 7 boards and 5 assists against the Cyclones, and always finds a way to contribute. So far tonight, she's got 5 points.
K-State in the man-to-man. Let's see how Rory Harmon recognizes it, and she does.
What a move by Harmon. First to her left, then her right. Harmon's got 5 as well now for Texas. Horns up by 12.
Texas again has forced 10 turnovers in this half, and still 5 minutes left in the second quarter. Doing a terrific job on the perimeter players, forcing them to be uncomfortable.
That one lobbed up by Goodrich. Drew the foul for Texas. This is their 5th game against a ranked team this year, but the first one at home. They're 3-1 in those games and on the road. And I was talking to Vic Schaefer earlier this week, and he said, yeah, I mean, let's be honest, we got to play better at home.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, we are just not playing as well at the Irwin Center.
Yeah, and I think he's talked about a lot of things. You try to figure it out with a young team. He has a team maybe that has fewer distractions on the road, maybe a little more focused on the road because of that, but certainly have to solve that problem. They played against 2 good teams, though, in Kansas and Texas Tech, that you see their percentages here as far as road games and home games. To me, the difference is their ability to be ready against physical teams and their ability to impose defensive pressure on the opposing team. They've done that well on the road. In those 2 games they lost, they didn't do it well.
A jarring difference there. Nearly 20 fewer points per game allowed on the road. Ebo in the paint.
And how about the battle in the paint right now? We expected Kansas State to be the winner and the more competitive team in the paint today, and really Ebo has taken it to Lee on the inside, been very motivated.
Matharu, no hesitation. 43rd 3 of the season to lead the Longhorns by far in that category.
Well, Texas is just wearing down Kansas State at this time. It takes them so long to get the ball inbounds across half court. They're having to work so hard even just to pass the basketball.
Well, if she's hitting that, that spells trouble for the opponent, because when your team's leading scorer is a 3-point shooter, some nights are going to be cold. She doesn't seem cold tonight. Meanwhile, Aoka Lee With just her second bucket of the contest, she has 4 points and 4 rebounds.
Well, let's just remember those 10 turnovers are 10 opportunities for Lee that she doesn't touch the basketball. She depends on other people to get her the ball in the paint. So many of her shots are assisted passes from her teammates.
Harmon to her left. It's passing by Texas. Matharu got hit gliding to the paint and foul.
Gosh, Matharu has been just really good offensively in the last couple of minutes. Knocked down a corner three, got to the rim. Comes off a screen. Oh, look at that screen she sets against Lee, and her player has to help. So she's able to step back, and this is where she's really good. That little step back three, she gets that look in her eye that we all recognize.
Meanwhile, moments before that, Aoka Lee now 2 of 5 from the field. Matharu, too strong. Texas shooting 38% from the field. Kansas State just 29, 5 of 17. They go back to Lee, draws the foul, and 1.
Take care of the basketball, take your time, stay composed. I'm sure those are all messages that Jeff Mittie is giving to his young players as you see Sundell feed the ball into the post here. And then once Lee caught that one, she also seems to have calmed down a little bit. Didn't rush the shot, and that's where she's really good, finishing.
After going 15 of 17 from the line against Oklahoma, she misses there. 3.5 to play in the first half. Texas in control. Well, Kansas State heating up from the field. 3 of their last 3. Warren gets it to fall. Audrey Warren with 4 points in 6 minutes off the bench.
On that assist, so the pass into the post, that was very good. Again, managing the interior of that 2-3 zone.
Sarita Sundell back in the game for Kansas State. Glenn lobs it up. Ebo rips it down.
Yeah, nice box out by Ebo right there. Kept Lee off the offensive boards.
Ebo coming off her second double-double of the year against TCU. Lauren Ebo in her last 2 games, 22 points and 20 boards combined.
Yeah, so important for Ebo to play well for this Texas team. They need leadership. They don't have a lot of upperclassmen.
Harmon somehow found Matharu. Matharu shouting out instructions. Shot clock at 4, so why not drain another 3? Her 3rd of the night.
Yeah, and a great screen right there. Good job by Matharu to recognize the shot clock.
Texas playing great D and getting strong outside shooting, a recipe for success so far in this one. Just over 2 to play in the half. Aoka Lee. Ebo got in her face. Lauren Ebo has done a tremendous job defensively on Aoka Lee so far.
And that was a nice read. Lee likes to go over her right shoulder. She comes over her left shoulder with that hook, and Ebo right there.
The fans here know what Aoka Lee did in her last game, 61 points. They're applauding Texas's efforts against her so far, although she did help force the turnover there. Tried to force it to Lee. That has been the theme of the first half for Kansas State. It's batted away. I mean, Texas denying that entry.
Yeah, and that was a big point of emphasis coming into today's game for Texas. They needed their guards, no matter what size, when they're on help side, to run and jump on the pass to Lee and just get a touch on it. Tip it out of bounds. Don't let her get a catch in that small window that she's so good at catching in.
Substitutions made for both teams with 1:45 to go in the first half. Texas, 5 of their last 7 from the field. Kansas State, 5 of their last 8. Make it 6 of their last 9, thanks to Emily Ebert, the junior from Frankfort, Kansas.
I always say some of those baseline out of bounds plays are the easiest plays you're going to get against Texas because the ball's so low on the floor.
Matharu quickly working it around to Harmon. Back to Matharu. Alan Taylor pull-up jumper. Goes down, no call. Lauren Ebo has been everywhere and draws the foul. Ebo already with 7 rebounds here in the first half.
Well, in the battle of the big girls, Lauren Ebo has just taken on the challenge, and 6'6" Lee on the interior. Look at Ebo with her hands. She's able to rebound the basketball over the smaller player, but goes up strong against Lee right here.
First foul of the night on Aoka Lee. Remember, she fouled out of both games against Texas last year. What do you think Vic Schaefer was saying to Lauren Ebo ahead of this matchup to get her riled up to face such a talented player in Aoka Lee?
I think it's been a process. So it is about Lee, and I think, for Ebo, she's just excited to play against another big and take on the challenge. But the post players for Texas, probably over the last 2 weeks, have put in so much work at how do we get better in the paint? How do we go up against these big players? And how can we be effective? So a lot of that has to do with work they put in.
Texas doubling up the number 25 team in the nation right now. Longhorns have forced 10 turnovers by Jeff Mitty's squad. Minute 14 to go in the half. Harmon and Sundell, two of the most talented freshmen in the nation, and Harmon gets the best of that matchup.
I'll tell you what, that was right in front of us, and you can see how good Rory Harmon is defensively, and you could tell Sundell wanted to dribble in front of her, do a little crossover dribble. Watch Harmon's eyes and her hands, so quick. That is where she is deadly. I think defensively her ball pressure is second to none.
Vic Schaefer says she is just scratching the surface. An electric freshman for the Longhorns. 60 seconds to play in the half. Joanne Allen-Taylor over to Harmon. Shot clock at 15. Look at the moves by Harmon. Ooh, and she goes down awkwardly, grabbing her left leg on the other end. Glenn with the bucket. And you could see Harmon in a great deal of pain right now.
Yeah, she's grabbing her hip and her ankle, and just that whole left side, I think, looked like she planted strangely and fell. Until you stand next to Aaliyah Matharu and Rory Harmon, you don't realize how small they are out there. Two of the smallest players on the floor, or the smallest players. And just watch this play. She kind of tries to stop.
Slipped a little bit there.
Yep.
Sundell was coming in from behind as well. And they will take a look at her here as time ticks down at the end of the first half, replaced by Shea Holly. There is Holly. Ebo over to Allen-Taylor to her right, lost the handle for a moment and then loses it for good. Shot clock is off. Kansas State just 8 of 22, but they've hit 5 of their last 7. See what they do here to finish off the half. Sundell looking for help. Goodrich looks up at the clock momentarily. 5 seconds to go in the half. Got to make a move, turning around. And does absolutely nothing with it, thanks to the defense of Shea Holly. And frankly, the defense of the Longhorns was the story in the first half. And word to describe her. Taking a look at the game summary brought to you by thezebra.com. Field goal percentage pretty close, 41 to 36 in favor of Texas, but really the turnovers, big difference. Texas with 11 points off 12 turnovers forced. As the second half is underway, Joanne Allen-Taylor with the miss. But Harmon with the rebound. You know, Vic Schaefer has talked about her rebounding is underrated, second on the team in rebounds. One of the best rebounding point guards he has seen in a long time, but Texas turns it over to begin the second half.
We talked about the turnovers for Kansas State in the first half, but Texas also had turnovers, 10 of them, and that's much more than Vic Schaefer would like to have.
Again, Ebo altering that shot attempt by Aoka Lee. Lee now just 3 of 8 from the field.
Yeah, again, she continues to compete on the interior. She's got great length to disrupt Lee.
She has certainly done that so far. Matharu with a miss from three-point land. Kansas State ball. Lauren Ebo with a career-high 13 rebounds in her last game. And again, 7 through just over 2 quarters of play tonight.
I imagine Jeff Mitty spent a lot of time at the halftime talking about how do we relieve some pressure. They're going to start setting some more on-ball screens for their point guard in Sundell, but she has just had trouble dribbling the ball against the smaller and quicker Rory Harmon. It's good to see Harmon back, by the way, after seeing her go out.
Harmon's gotten knocked down the past few games, and now you can see her grabbing her nose. You know, last home game we did, she bumped her head. Then afterwards she said, it's okay, I got a hard head. Last game she missed almost all the second half with a back injury.
Well, yeah, and you see she hits her nose right there against Sundell. She's so quick that she got in front of Sundell as Sundell was going down and just collided with her face.
Get beat up over there. Rory Harmon, hopefully for Texas fans, she is okay. We'll check back in. Meanwhile, Sundell with a free throw, just 3 points on the night as they continue to look at Harmon's nose. Kansas State now within 11. This is a Wildcats team that's having a tremendous season under Jeff Mittie, a 6-win improvement already compared to last year's squad. That one bounced right to Alan Taylor. Matharu, will she try it again? Kicks it out to Audrey Warren. Another impressive performance off the bench for Audrey Warren. She's now 3 for 3.
She's just very efficient as well. She's shooting the ball extremely well. Best shooter on the team right now, percentage-wise.
Lee, again, Ebo right in her face all night long. This is one of the best defensive performances I can remember from Lauren Ebo.
Absolutely. She's in the right place at the right time, engaged. You know, she just keeps getting better this year. Last season played some limited minutes behind Charlie Collier. They went with a smaller lineup. This year it's expected that she plays more minutes, and she has been very good as conference play has started.
Tharu went down hard there, has to be helped up by Ebo and Warren.
I mentioned that Kansas State is very big, over 6 feet tall on the perimeter, and then you have Lee on the inside that's 6'6". If you go into that paint, you expect to get bumped.
The double team came in as Warren helped, but Lee still got her bucket. 8 points and 5 boards for Aoka Lee.
Well, it's so important for Kansas State that Aoka Lee gets some looks, so that means take care of the basketball, get the ball in her hands a few times more.
Gaston, haven't heard much from her tonight, nearly got tied up. Helen Taylor checked the clock, plenty of time. Warren in the corner, a few steps forward and drains it. Audrey Warren, 4 of 4 from the field. She's got 8 points in 10 minutes. Again, in Big 12 play, she's averaging nearly 12 points per contest. Overall in the season, 8.5 points per game. Sundell on the other end, Lauren Ebo, and there's the finger wag. Get out of here with that stuff, she says.
You gotta love that confidence right there as Sundell just trying to get to the rim. She's very good at going left, and Lauren Ebo.
Look at Matharu's face behind her.
Sass.
3 blocks on the night for Ebo. There's another rebound, number 8. I mean, we haven't even seen Latasha Lattimore yet.
This is a very physical game on the interior, perfectly suited for Ebo.
More good news for Texas. Rory Harmon getting ready to check back in. Matharu. Warren. She can't miss! Warren is 5 for 5. But a defensive lapse on the other end, and there's a foul by Matharu.
One of the things about Audrey Warren is she came into this season ready to go, but she has shot the ball during the season 47.8%, which is incredibly efficient, but she, in the last 5 games, is shooting 56.5% from the field. Perfect, right, tonight, with her shooting. That mid-range game of hers when she is locked in, it is tough.
Again, her 4th straight game now coming off the bench, adapting to that role. But she looks great coming off the bench. 13 points in her last game, 17 points 3 games ago. Another double-digit outing so far.
She brings such energy off the bench, and I think for Vic Schaefer, you know, he likes her coming off the bench. It gives him the option to play somebody either at the 4 or the 3 position, so a perimeter player or inside player.
Harmon, meanwhile, back on the floor for Texas. Ebo in a bit of trouble. Stays with it. Traveling on the Longhorns.
Yeah, and that's just a poor decision right there by Matharu, feeding the ball into Ebo. I mean, Ebo went and got the basketball, and that's what Vic Schaefer is talking about, or he's looking at Matharu with that look that coaches give, that intensity, He did not like the feed to Ebo.
He saw the thumb go up. He said, Shea, get in there. Shea Holly getting ready to re-enter the ball game. Sundell, the nice feed down low, but Moore couldn't convert. They still retained possession. Sundell fouled by Ebo. That's going to be the second on Lauren Ebo.
I'm interested to see how K-State actually responds right now. They seem a little bit more comfortable with the pressure that Texas is putting on them, but they haven't yet hit a three-point shot. So they are 0 for 4 in the game from 3, and that's a big part of Jeff Mitty's team and his game. He's got young perimeter players, but they can score the basketball from 3.
But Texas has held their last 2 opponents to below 50 points, and on pace for that yet again so far tonight.
I'm sure Jeff Mitty's looking up at that scoreboard, 23 points at this point in the game, and just wondering what the heck.
And the 2 best defensive teams in the Big 12 squaring off. Texas holding Kansas State to 32% shooting, 9 of 28 from the field this evening. Alan Taylor is looking to draw the foul. No whistle. Ebo hustling for it. Sundell, Kansas State, sets up on offense. Moore nearly had it poked away. Harmon grabbing for it. And Moore just never looked comfortable there from the moment she got her hands on the ball.
Again, that's Rory Harmon's pressure on the ball. Her quickness, her defensive stance, her technique is flawless.
Kansas State without a field goal in the last 2.5 minutes. Alan Taylor buries that one from just outside the free throw line.
A pretty screen on the ball against the zone, the 2-3 zone. Audrey Warren helping her teammate JAT out right there.
Well, Texas right now living up to their number 9 ranking in the nation. 3-1 against ranked teams. Looking to go 4-1. There is Aoka Lee, however, now up to double digits, 10 points on the night for Lee.
And I think that's one of the ways Vic Schaefer has challenged his team right now. He said last time we were at number 9, you know, we did not wear that number well. How will we do with it this time? Being in the top 10 is a lot different than being a top 25 team.
Joanne Allen Taylor, 2 of 7 from the field. Make it 3 of 8. Nearly the exact same spot she hit her last bucket.
Yeah, it took a little more time, a couple more dribbles, but another great screen by Audrey Warren and a nice shot by Joanne.
Texas isn't having to go to the paint offensively. Their shooters are delivering tonight.
Yeah, a little bit in certain spots, but they've been very patient against this zone. I thought the first couple of minutes they weren't very patient.
I mean, Kansas State, this is one of the best blocking teams in the nation, Kansas State. They average 6 per contest. They have just 3 blocks tonight. Texas has just as many.
Yeah, I think Texas is playing a lot smarter against the zone. It's something else they've worked on over the past few weeks after going up against Texas Tech's 2-3 zone. Again, what you work on is what you get better at.
Rory Harmon, 5 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. Holly to Warren. I mean, she's unconscious right now. 6 of 6 from the field for the senior. What a huge difference she has made coming off the bench tonight. Texas bench players outscoring Kansas State's bench 16-2. Sundell unable to get past Harmon. Been a thorn in her side tonight. Timeout is called by Jeff Mitty, and he is furious.
Just lack of execution for Kansas State. It has been a struggle all night long. Texas has been unbelievable defensively. And how about Audrey Warren with her efficiency? Texas leading 42-27.
Audrey Warren has been one of Texas's best scorers this year in Big 12 play. Tonight, she has tied a season high with 6 field goals, perfect from the field. 12 points in 14 minutes, Andrea.
Yeah, coming off the bench, I thought she was tremendous against the 2-3 zone. There are gaps, and she's the perfect person to find gaps. She's been super efficient as of late, and she does that KISS system. She keeps it simple against the zone. It's not complicated. Find the gaps, shoot when you're open, pass when you're not.
Kansas State player got knocked over. If that foul is on Ebo, that will be her 3rd. That's a big 3rd foul tonight arguably Texas's top player, Lauren Ebo. And Vic Schaefer talking things over. It looked like timeout was called as well. So we will take another timeout. Texas up by 15 over the number 25 team in the nation. Kansas State looking like a totally different team offensively when you compare tonight to their matchup this past Sunday against Oklahoma when they scored 94 points. Of course, the record-setting 61 by Ayoka Lee. Tonight they've been held to 27 points. Ayoka Lee just 10 points. Andrea, what is it now? This is the third straight game Vic Schaefer's defenses have really contained her.
Yeah, I think that it's one of those things where pressure on the basketball, on the perimeter players, makes it so difficult for Lee to get the ball in the paint. And she relies on somebody in order to score, correct?
Pressuring the passers. Again, 9 points against Texas in one game last year, 5 points in the other, and just 10 points so far tonight for Ayoka Lee.
Well, in situations where I've seen Kansas State do really, really well, they've had their guards penetrate to the basket, bring Ayoka Lee a little bit away from the basket, or move her around a little bit. I'd like to see them get some more easy points from their guards, and that might open something up for Lee. But if you're a player like Ayoka Lee, you rely on other people to get you the basketball where you need it in order to score. So she's not going to take you off the dribble. She's not going to start stepping out and shooting threes. She's going to run offense and take shots in the offense.
Harmon heaves one up. That one out of bounds, or there's a foul there on Kansas State. By the way, Audrey Warren, speaking of fouls, moments ago picked up her third foul, but she remains in the game. So Warren and Ebo each with 3 fouls.
It's just so important for Vic Schaefer, I think, to have leadership and people that are upperclassmen out on the floor right now. He understands how teams can be dangerous at a time like this, especially when they can shoot the three-pointer. You do not want anybody to get back into the game. You see Ebo on the sideline taking a little break right there. It looks like she might need some help from the trainer.
Well, if Kansas State's going to make a run, it has to be here with Ebo on the bench. She's been such a force tonight. But getting a breather, Sundell and Ebert looking for Sundell. Finally finds her. Sundell with 9 points, most of those coming at the free throw line. Glenn driving and dishing. Ebert delivers a huge three. Kansas State needed that one badly.
Yeah, terrific three-point play right there. And looked like Audrey Warren had taken a charge on that play, and it might have been a dead ball play, but Kansas State making something happen. That's how quickly they can get some points on the board.
That is the first three-pointer made by Kansas State all night. And it comes with right around 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Harmon with the shot clock at 5. Holly from the corner. Holly answers with the 3 of her own.
Pretty offense again. An offensive basket allows Texas to set up in this full court defense, which has bothered Kansas State throughout the night.
Texas 4 of their last 4 from the field. The lead back out to 13. The lob down low to Ayoka Lee. And even with Ebo not in the game, she had 2 chances, still couldn't get it to go.
Oh, good job by Texas. 5'9" Audrey Warren flying in there to get a rebound on the inside.
You could see the frustration on Lee's face running back down the court. Just 5 for 13 from the field after making 23 field goals, an NCAA record on Sunday. Shot clock at 5. There's a miss down low, and Lee with the board. Less than a minute to play in the third. Kansas State trailing by 14. What a defensive performance by the Longhorns. Ebert spinning out of control in the paint and gets bailed out with a foul. If that's on Warren, that's her 4th. But it is not. Gaston draws the whistle.
Good aggressiveness by Ebert. As a junior, I think, she's coming in and saying, hey, we need to push right now, and attacks the basket. And it wasn't a pretty finish. This is a young lady that's coming back from COVID protocol, been out a little bit, starting to get her legs back, and made a nice 3 on the play before. Makes a nice play to the basket this time.
Lee Gaston picking up her second foul. Quiet night for Gaston, 2 points and 3 rebounds.
Anytime you move Audrey Warren into that 4 position or forward spot, it takes away a spot for some of the other bigs for Texas. So if Lauren Ebo's playing well, there's not much room for somebody coming off the bench with Ebo and Warren on the floor.
Gaston down low with the height disadvantage. Wisely passed it back out. Alan Taylor with the pull-up jumper off the front of the rim. 15 seconds to go in the third quarter for Kansas State. Down by 12. Simone Goodrich. Goodrich couldn't do anything with her last attempt at the end of a quarter. And throws it away here to end the third. Warren heaves it up. It's good if it goes. It does not. We will head to the final quarter. Texas up by 12 over number 25 Kansas State. The Longhorns looking to make it 4 wins in a row.
See how she does in this fourth quarter, because it's been a tough first 3 quarters.
Again, in 3 career matchups against Vic Schaefer's Longhorns, has never scored more than 10 points. Final quarter underway here in Austin. Texas looking to move to 4-1 against ranked teams this year. And a foul.
Yeah, foul right there by Briley Glenn, just trying to contest the shot. You know, Kansas State has not been bad defensively. They've held Texas to 46 points to this point into the fourth quarter. Been pretty good. They just haven't been able to take care of the basketball. They're getting beat in almost every lower portion of your stat sheet, which, if I look at mine right here, is turnover, points off turnovers, points in the paint, second chance points, fast break points, and bench points. Texas is just dominated in that.
Joanna Allen Taylor made her first. Misses the second, lead fighting for it. Kansas State comes up with it. Texas 4 of 6 from the free throw line tonight. Wildcats, besides Lee, they have only 7 buckets on the night. Glenn going baseline, and Gaston was awaiting her presence in the paint.
The whole Texas defense was awaiting the presence in the paint. Good help side defense right there by Audrey Warren again. My mind was going way back into the 80s with the Audrey Smith.
It's okay. Hey, that was a fantastic era of hoops, especially Texas hoops. Alan Taylor getting a hand on that. How about that? It's been that kind of a night for Kansas State. Glenn just trying to chase it down and unable to.
Yeah, it's been really, really difficult. I think where Kansas State has size on the perimeter and great young players, they don't have the quickness that Texas does. And Matharu, Alan Taylor, you playing Audrey Warren at the 4 position, and then Rory Harmon on the ball has just been bothersome.
Texas, right from the opening tip, you could tell they were prepared to play. Came out with great effort, great urgency defensively, and that has not let up. Audrey Warren, jump ball, possession arrow. Kansas State, a rare miscue tonight for Warren, again, who is 6 for 6 from the field.
Just a low pass right there. Sometimes you got to be careful about getting the ball too close to somebody's ankles. Warren's got some good hands, but couldn't pick that one up.
Kansas State looking for somebody to get going offensively, and leading scorer Aoka Lee with 10 points, 5 of 13 shooting. They feed it to her a little bit too high out there.
Yeah, but they're pulling her off the block and trying to get some motion in the offense. You can see what Kansas State is trying to do. They're just trying to find a different way to feed Aoka Lee on the block, and just too tough of a pass to catch.
I'm watching her facial expressions every time down the court, and she is just frustrated beyond belief.
Yeah, she is, and she's a young lady that doesn't show frustration often, very poised usually, but Texas has a way with their defense of frustrating her. They put so much emphasis, if you listen to pregame, if you listen to the practices leading into it, they emphasize not allowing her to get easy catches and making it a frustrating day.
And she's still struggling offensively, even with Lauren Ebo out of the game. There's a foul on Ebert.
And I think Matharu, with a little bit of her savvy, might have sold that right there.
How impressive is this performance by Texas?
I think it's very impressive, and we talked about the fact that they needed to play well at home. Vic Schaefer has been looking for his post players to be a bigger presence on the interior. He's been experimenting with bringing Audrey Warren off the bench. That's worked very, very well, and I think he's really buckled down and tried to get defensive pressure on the ball, and with his guards deny the basketball, and all those things working together today.
Sundell, pressured by Harmon, nearly threw it away. Glenn driving out of control in the paint. They get it to Lee, another miss with the rebound, and finally she's having to work desperately for every bucket.
But not giving up, and that's the way Lee plays at all times. It's been frustrating, keeping her head up, getting that second chance point.
It's incredible to think she wasn't even rated a top 30 post player coming out of high school in Byron, Minnesota.
Well, if you look at the path she's made to get where she is, an ACL injury in her final game of her senior year in high school, sat out at.
Oh, you have to laugh.
I'll get back to that.
Audrey Warren, 7 of 7 from the field.
Unbelievable.
I mean, unreal performance off the bench. Lee on the other end, starting to heat up for Kansas State. Now you wonder if Ebo's going to check back in.
Well, she looks like she's getting ready to come back in, and I think it's just very important to keep your focus here. Kansas State can score quickly and in bunches, and you don't want to give them any thought that they can get back in this game.
Lee with 14, big bucket by Joanne Allen Taylor as Kansas State was starting to gain momentum. 7 to play.
Vic Schaefer yelling at Deanna Gaston, saying, hey, get into her, get the help side defense, do not back down.
The Glenn sisters on the left side. Here's Briley Glenn. T. Gaston right up in her grill. She's been quiet offensively, but stepping up the defense in the second half and gets a nice hand from the crowd.
Yeah, and this is great help side defense. You're within the arc right there. If you try to take a charge, you can. And why take a charge when you can just go up and block it with both hands?
Absolutely. Texas with 5 blocks on the night. Kansas State with just 3. When the Wildcats came in, #1 in the Big 12, top 10 in the nation in blocks.
Kind of a turnaround today. Just the aggressor has been Texas, and the confidence has been with Texas.
Offensively, the Longhorns have hit 9 of their last 12. Allen Taylor nearly fell over. 5 on the shot clock. Matharu heaves one up and buries it. Aaliyah Matharu with her 4th 3 of the night. Audrey Warren gets knocked over. Play continues.
Yeah, it looked like an offensive foul that she took right there. A little bit of a push off by Kansas State.
They go back to Lee. Nowhere close. Glenn trying to clean it up. No, and there is Ebo back in the game and making her presence felt.
There's nobody happy over on the sideline for K-State, and Jeff Mitty talking to the official over there. I think he thought there might have been some contact before that rebound by Ebo, who's bringing us a gift.
Foul on Glenn. What was that she dropped off here?
I don't want to know.
Looked like confetti. Lauren Ebo now 9 rebounds on the night, 4 shy of her career high, which she picked up in the last game. Ebo working on Aoka Lee, draws the whistle. Lee now with 3 fouls.
And I would say that her numbers show that she's playing very well, but there are things she's doing today, Lauren Ebo for Texas, that have nothing to do with numbers, and it has to do with how she's communicating with her teammates, how she's carrying herself, and just simply how focused she is from minute to minute in this basketball game.
The effort is certainly there tonight from Lauren Ebo, to say the least, but misses the first attempt. Texas now 4 of 9 from the free throw line. Fortunately, still up by 16, but need to hit those. Warren comes flying in and puts it in for the bucket.
You don't have to run one play for Audrey Warren. She just finds gaps and finds ways to score.
Audrey Warren is now 8 for 8 on the night. Texas on a 7-0 run. Timeout, Kansas State. Audrey Warren leading the charge. A game-high 16 points. Texas up big in the 4th.
This is basketball on Longhorn Network is presented by Wells Fargo. This is a commitment to better banking. This is Wells Fargo.
The Big 12 absolutely up for grabs this year. No clear-cut favorite. Right now, Texas just a notch ahead of Kansas State in the standings, but the Longhorns up big tonight. Elsewhere around the Big 12, Iowa State beat Kansas this evening. Oklahoma took down Oklahoma State, and Baylor is currently ahead of Texas Tech in the fourth. One of those Iowa State losses coming at the hands of Texas, but of course the Jones sisters were not participating in that game for the Cyclones.
One of the great things to see in that standings right there is the 5 ranked teams for the Big 12 in the top 25, and Oklahoma was in there. West Virginia early in the season was in the top 25, so very, very competitive race this year.
Off the missed 3, Mackey with the rebound. Harmon came flying in trying to swipe that.
She's been flying in all game long.
Despite getting banged up numerous times, Lee working on Ebo and gets it to drop. Aoka Lee now up to 16 points.
Lee just taking her time on that shot with that little jump hook. She's been rushed all game long. Not right there.
Lee hit 22 field goals in the paint in her last game. Kansas State tonight, 22 total points in the paint. That is it. Texas doing a tremendous job defensively. And a foul on Kansas State.
Well, this will be an interesting game to see second time around when they go to Kansas State to play. Very, very difficult to play in Manhattan. And again, Jeff Mittie playing with 3 young players out there, the Glenn twins and Sundell at the point guard position. They will get better and better as the season goes on.
Third foul on Riley Glenn. Texas hits the free throw. Texas was hitting better than 75% from the free throw line in 2 of their last 3 games, but not the case tonight, shooting 42% from the line. The good news, they have buried 6 3-pointers. And overall from the field, the Longhorns shooting nearly 50%. 17-point game with 4.5 to play. Sundell. Nice moves in on Harmon and gets the bucket. Serena Sundell, the freshman from Missouri.
One of the few times Sundell's been able to take advantage of her size and get inside on Harmon.
Sundell's got 11 points, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds. They go to Ebo, to Warren. Warren 8 for 8 on the night. Shot clock at 10. Aaliyah Matharu's been hot from outside. Had a good look but missed. Back the other way. They go to lead, double team. Warren and Ebo were there. That is the 4th foul of the night on Lauren Ebo.
I think Lauren Ebo was concerned about the foul a little bit, but more concerned about losing the battle that time down. I was watching Lee as she came down and kind of slammed into Ebo originally, and here's that double team and good read by Lee, who has that jump hook, but boy, Lauren Ebo has had her number all day.
Lee 8 for 18 from the field, now 1 for 2 from the line. But you're down by 14 with 3:41 to go. You would think they would have to start attempting some long distance shots, but they've only hit 1 3-pointer all night. 1 for 6 from downtown.
Yeah, I don't think Jeff Mittie's the kind of coach that just gets into desperation mode. He's going to keep plugging away and hope they can go on a run.
Texas turns it over, but they get back defensively. 13th turnover, make it 14 for Texas, 16 turnovers forced. And a whistle down low. If that's on Ebo, she's done for the night. And by her reaction, that is the case.
I think Vic Schaefer's lobbying for a 3-second call on the interior there by Lee, but Lee did a nice job of getting down the floor and getting low position early. Lauren Ebo's going to take her time coming off the floor, deservedly so today. Terrific game for that young lady.
What a performance. 3 blocks, 9 rebounds, tremendous defense. So that is one of the best defensive performances of her career against Aoka Lee. Can Texas survive the last 3-17 without her? Up by 13. Immediately they go to Lee with no Ebo. Gaston with 1 block. But Lee pulls Kansas State within 11.
Well, you can see how quickly that can happen, and she can put up some numbers.
She's up to 18 points, 9 rebounds, 3 to play. 6-0 Kansas State run. Lee got a hand on that.
It's going to be Texas ball down on the baseline. You're right. Lee got a handle on that. That was a great pass by Audrey Warren. She saw that after she was going to take the shot, saw Lee coming at her, and thought twice.
Texas has gone cold over the last 2.5 minutes. No field goals by the Longhorns. And timeout is called by Vic Schaefer. Take a timeout. Things getting closer here in Austin. The Wildcats on a 6-0 run. Kansas State is pulled within striking distance, outscoring Texas 12-11 here in the 4th quarter.
And I think Texas called that timeout in order to make sure they execute on this play right now on the inbounds. K-State needs a defensive stand right now, and they need to get some shots up quickly in the next minute or 2.
Every possession crucial from here on out. Matharu got hit in the face by Jalen Glenn, the freshman. That is the 4th on Glenn. Glenn sisters with 6 fouls combined. Gets the bounce. Aaliyah Matharu, 15 points on the night, 2nd most, and now 16, tied for the team lead with Audrey Warren. Some big free throws made by Aaliyah Matharu when Texas needed it most.
You mentioned how there's been contributions by everybody here today.
Sundell drew the foul, looked like it was on Dee Gaston.
One of the things about Texas, I think, that's impressive is you can have, you know, a player like Joanne Allen Taylor that leads the team in scoring for 3 games, and then it's Matharu, and then it's Harmon, and you don't really know. You have to pick your poison with this Texas team.
Warren with 16, Matharu with 16, Allen Taylor with 9, Harmon with 7. Dee Gaston, by the way, just picked up her 3rd foul of the night. Sundell's done most of her damage at the free throw line now. 6 of 7 from the stripe. Make it 7 of 8. Wildcats hanging around, but time obviously now a major factor with less than 3 to play.
And it's so hard to guard Texas and try to make them turn the ball over in the full court situation. Rory Harmon's quick enough to break it herself. Got a lot of guards that can handle out there.
Matharu finding Warren, who's perfect from the field. Texas looking for something on offense. Shot clock at 8. No room to breathe. Matharu driving and dishing. It was poked right back into the hands of Matharu.
Yeah, crafty and heads up. Good job by Matharu. She came to play today.
Aaliyah Matharu coming up with 4 huge points over the last minute. The lead back to 13. They lob it down low. Gaston is there. Another turnover as they tried to force it to Lee, and then Harmon turns it over. 2-on-2 back the other way. Glenn driving right into Warren. Offensive foul. Audrey Warren taking a huge charge, and Glenn frustrated to say the least.
Well, this is Audrey Warren, day in, day out defensively, reads what the offensive player's going to do, knows the scout, knows her tendencies, and sets herself up defensively to take that charge outside of the restricted area.
So this is now a clutch play by Texas defensively at the free throw line. An all-around strong past few minutes for the Longhorns as the Wildcats got somewhat close.
Well, they haven't panicked against the 2-3 zone. They've been patient against the zone, even using all of the 30-second shot clock.
Alan Taylor with the miss. Gaston flying in for the huge rebound. And D. Gaston coming up with the bucket. Texas up by 15. A minute 15 to go in the contest. We mentioned earlier D. Gaston kind of a quiet night offensively, but a huge one there. Kansas State can't get it to fall. The Longhorns just about have this one in the books here in Austin. It will be another win against a ranked team for Texas. They came into this one 3-1 against top 25 clubs. This is the first matchup against a ranked squad at the Irwin Center.
Well, and from start to finish, Texas's defense was pretty hard to even handle today. Forced so many turnovers. Made the day very frustrating for Ayoka Lee, who comes off that 61-point performance and has struggled to even catch the ball today.
Ayoka Lee held to 20 points. Audrey Warren. It's Warren and Alan Taylor, and Warren will keep it herself and miss. Alan Taylor ends up with the bucket anyway. Smiles all around. They can laugh about it because Texas is up big with 20.1 to go.
Well, Audrey Warren was 8 for 8 from the field before that missed layup. She would have been perfect on the day from the field and free throw line and just misses that easy one. She can't believe it.
Warren still with 16 points, second most on the team. Alan Taylor with a big grin, 11 points. Audrey Warren, her night is done. She gets a huge applause from the crowd. 16 points off the bench in 27 minutes, 8 of 9 from the field. What an impressive performance by the Longhorns tonight.
Yeah, you know what? I've been impressed with the play of Rory Harmon defensively, but then offensively, I just have really appreciated the intensity that the upperclassmen brought today to the game. It's something that Vic Schaefer has been asking for from his team. They brought it on offensively, defensively, held their ground on the interior with Ebo. How about this game?
The final seconds wind down, and Texas from start to finish in control, and they finish off number 25 Kansas State with a 66-48 win. The Longhorns led by Aaliyah Matharu with 18 points, and Texas holds Kansas State to 35% shooting. And Ayoka Lee, after setting an NCAA record with 61 points, she had 20 points tonight. A strong job on Lee by the Texas defense.